Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Holistics Highlights podcast, along with Grande Alejandro and John Browner, the brains of the operation, Ruthie Edelson, who runs marketing at Torrey Holistics and California Holistics. I'm Scott Kaplan. And today, Ruthie, I'm curious about our guest, Joseph Haggard, and the brand Farm Cut and what we're going to learn about these guys. Tell us what you know.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him on as well. He's actually at Torrey Holistics, and he's going to come on in and sit with me. But I'm really excited to learn more about his legacy farm and how long he's been on the farm. He has his family on the farm, so he is like the heartbeat of his sun-grown cannabis and all the farms he works with. I know that they specialize in some strains that people love and search for. He has a lot of CBD flower and 1-to-1 flower. So I'm really excited to hear more from him directly.
Yeah, I was looking at their website, and Alex, I know you can pull it up on the screen for everybody that's watching, and for everybody that's listening, we can kind of just give you guys an idea of where to find it. It's farmcutcannabis.com, farmcutcannabis.com. And I was watching, they have what they call a 3-minute documentary about, what they do and the history and, just being an organic farmer and the flower that they produce and why they do the things that they do. It's, for someone who just like me, I just like the finished product. I don't really know a whole lot about how it gets to where we are. But man, these guys have such passion for the plant, which I find really interesting.
And they're on a mission. They're on a mission for our planet, for the cannabis plant, for, the people that use it and care for it and love it. So I really love the passion that comes with this.
So Joseph is in the store today, and he's going to come up and sit down right next to you. And then we'll all have a chance to get to chat with him and get to know what they're all about.
Yeah, let's do it.
Our first in-person guest.
Yeah. You're right. 805 Alex.
Yeah. Why don't we all get together and do a podcast one day?
Would love to be in your guys' presence.
Well, I was thinking about it today. And as Joseph will come in and sit down next to you, Ruthie, I was thinking the exact same thing, like where you are in the corporate offices and with, the store being down below, like we should just come in there and get all set up and just record from right there in the wild.
Yeah. John Browner's done it.
Shout out. You already know. I'm like the Anthony Bourdain of the show.
Love that. Too bad you couldn't smoke a blunt while you were in the store. You know how he goes to try food?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You need to start something like that.
Exactly.
On-site consumption.
Flour and joints and different things to try. And during the episode, you're like smoking it and trying it and all that good stuff. Yeah.
We can call it higher ground.
I love it.
Ooh, by the way, I'm on fire right now.
How do you like the cameo by Kalina? She just kind of walks by in the background, she's kind of doing a little dance move, Oh, there she is.
Yeah,
there's
our queen.
Is it really a Holistics highlight without it?
It's every time you see Kalina, you have to take a hit.
Yeah. That's a new game.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would turn the show into a whole direction.
Wait, what is Kalina saying? What are you saying, Kalina? How are you?
Farm cut. Farm cut is my absolute favorite flower. Moon Maid is a very close second, but Farm Cut, Harmony Rose, that's my medicine. That's what I smoke every single night.
Really?
Wow. I had a lot of people contact me about Moon Maid, so I think I'm going to have a lot of people contact me about that now because she came on here. She sold it so well.
Yeah.
That sun-grown flower. You're saying Farm Cut for you is better.
Well, so sun-grown is everything that's grown outside organically, and that sun and earth certification is where it kind of adds a lot more, where they really take care of the soil and the people, and then that's a whole movement. So sun-grown is what's grown outside. There's a lot more to it, obviously. And there's a lot of different farms. So Moon Maid Farms is a sun-grown farm that cares and is sun and earth certified. Farm Cut has multiple farms under that umbrella. So that's what we'll hear about today, but they're all sun-grown brands. And
if you think about I just said Harmony Rose, that's Emerald Spirit Botanicals. And I'm not going to talk about it because I can't do it justice. Joseph, his mother, his brother, his family run that farm. They'll be able to speak to it, but it is, in my opinion, it is medicine. In my opinion, it is magic. In my opinion, it is what gets me through.
Wow. All right. Hey, listen, coming from you, I feel like that's really high praise.
Totally.
I mean, I'm not a big, like, superstitious, weird, like, magic person, but
I am.
But that's true. But Harmony Rose to me is that. Yeah.
Oh,
interesting. And I'm so glad you were just saying this, Ruthie, because again, Joseph will be there any second. But when I was looking at the website, I did see what I thought were all these other kind of brands underneath. So I wasn't really sure exactly how it like was Farm Cut, kind of the parent name and company. I wasn't really positive about that.
Yeah. Well, let's bring him in and have him explain it to us.
Okay, let's do it.
Bye.
All right, Ruthie, Joseph has come and joined you. And boy, we're going to have a battle of hairdos here today. You guys both look so good. You both have great hair days.
You might have better curls than I do, but it's okay.
I want to hear something stupid. I literally just, before we started recording, I was complaining to my fiance, I was like, God, my hair's so long right now. I need a haircut.
You got longer hair than you.
Well,
me too. My hair. I'm working on maintaining this. I know it's hard. I know. But
grow it out, Browner.
Oh, dude!
I did for 2 years. I grew my hair out, and I could come nowhere close to that.
Right. If you gave it another 3 years, you might have, Brown. Maybe a little bit. Hey, Joseph, it's great.
It took some time to get this hair.
Yeah, it's great to meet you. And Ruthie, in particular, seems really, really excited to share your story and the Farm Cut story. And we're all enthusiastic to learn as much as we can. I'm going to start off by saying, where should we start? Because we've all watched your videos. We've all been to your website and trying to get a grasp on what exactly it is that you guys are all about. It seems like you guys have been in this industry and farming practically your whole life. Is that right?
Yeah. So Farm Cut represents a collaboration of multiple small farms in Mendocino, Humboldt, and Nevada County. And we're all multi-generational farmers. Either we have younger family that's growing up on the farm, or, we are the second or even third generation that's growing up on the land where we're growing food, we're growing medicine, we're growing cannabis. It's really a diversified, holistic farming approach. And so Farm Cut was created to help elevate some of these small families and bring us to market together so that we could share the gifts and the messages that we have, but do it together and share our resources, share our connections, and really kind of form sort of like a cooperative and bring our message out to the people, because it can be a tricky time working by yourself as a small family. So we're stronger together. We share values of what's called sun and earth. It's working with organic farming practices. It's also taking care of any employees that work on the farm, making sure that the farmers are compensated fairly for their work, and then also engaged with our community, supporting our community through fire relief, through education, through fundraisers, through, food, sharing food with the community. So it's more than just sustainable agriculture. Environmentally, we're also looking at it socially and financially as well, and trying to find a model that is a win-win for everyone.
Whoa. I say it like that only because before you came on, I was telling Ruthie, I'm like, we, the consumer, we only know the end result. And so it's really interesting to hear you talk about all of that. How did everybody kind of come together underneath that roof, if you will, that umbrella, where we can be stronger together if we all are in one group?
Yeah. So, we've all worked together for many years in different ways, and some of us have worked closer with each other than others within Farm Cut. But really, when legalization came together, it was about 3 years ago that we saw a need for us to really bring our medicine forward, bring our cannabis forward in a way that ensured the integrity of the flower was maintained through the entire supply chain. And so, like what you said, as a customer, really all you see is the end result. our priority as Farm Cut was finding a way to get it off the farm and into the customer's hands while ensuring that the integrity and the quality of the flower wasn't compromised through the supply chain. And so the way that we've done that is we use mason jars, which we've found on the farm preserve the flower better than turkey bags, better than cardboard boxes, better than, a lot of these storing methods that are used in the industry. The mason jar, we're able to seal it and keep it airtight, and that preserves the freshness of the flower. And then what we do to the flower before we put it in the jar is also really important. And it's a little different than what most of the flower is seen in the industry, but we actually minimally process the flower so we don't heavily trim the buds. And we do that to preserve the quality of the flower. We look at the sugar leaves, which are kind of the outer leaves of the bud. That's kind of the skin that protects the bud within. And the trichomes, if you look under a microscope, you see these little like mushroom, shiny looking things. That's really what holds your terpenes and your cannabinoids. And as a customer, that's what you should care about the most. The terpenes are bringing you the flavors and some subtle effects, and the cannabinoids are giving you the more robust effects with THC or CBD or THCV. So our mission with Farm Cut was to really make sure that our flower, which we love and care for so much on the garden, make sure that that flower made it to the customer and was still the same quality that it was when we left the farm. So we did that through careful packaging and then also minimal processing of the flower to preserve the trichomes and make sure it smells good, it tastes good, and it hits well when it gets to the end user.
So can I take a
hold
step?
on.
Okay.
Do people trim only for the look?
So I think different people trim for different reasons. The look is definitely a big part of it. Is like, if you have this tightly trimmed frosty bud, it looks sexier. It looks more appealing. It's like, ooh, I really want that.
Yeah.
But what we see is that as soon as the flower is trimmed, the terpenes are literally bleeding out of the flower. The smell is degrading. So if you can like trim it and get it into the customer's hand within a week or two, great. That's, good job. But the reality of the industry right now is with all of the different hoops and regulations that you have to jump through, it is really difficult to get a quick turnaround to your customer. And so our focus is preservation. And in doing so, we can ensure that, whether it takes a month or it takes 2 months to get through the supply chain, it's still maintained at its highest quality.
Yeah.
Without giving away any of the secrets to the sauce, how do you go about avoiding some of these regulations that are in your way while also expediting getting things to the customer?
So, we're not really exploiting any loopholes. We're mostly like, so one risk that we have to take is we package on farm. And we do that to make sure that, we're the ones that handle our flower. We know it's not being mishandled by someone who maybe doesn't care as much. We know it's not being handled by a machine, which doesn't care at all. And so we package it on farm, which is something that not a lot of people are doing. In the regulatory realm, we have to take a risk in getting our COA test done after we package our flower, which is a really high risk, because if we, say we package all of our flower, we package a 10-pound batch, we send it in for COA testing and that batch fails. Not only did we lose that 10 pounds of flour, we also just invested all of this money into packaging. So, that is it allows us to package our own flour and ensure that we have the highest quality product on the market. But the regulatory framework does limit us in not allowing us to do a test before we package, because we're not sending it to the distro until after it's in a jar.
You talk about, obviously, what you're talking about. And you talk about
clearly,
obviously, my gosh.
Yeah. And you talked about like the families and how it feels like the Farm Cut is a family. Where did this passion start? Obviously, you're a young looking guy, so I'm not sure if it started with you. Like, where did this whole thing, this passion for the flower come from?
Yeah, I think really the passion originated from my mom and the way that she raised me on the land. I was born and raised in Mendocino County. I spent from the time that I was 4 years old to 9 years old, I was living in a teepee, completely off the land. We were cooking food over a fire. I was harvesting sticks to, make a fire that I could cook my food over. And I didn't have electricity till I was 12 years old. So my childhood was very different. I wasn't distracted by media. I was connected to the land. I was growing my own food. And that instilled a type of connection to plants and the earth that I think is really hard to develop with our current, societal preferences. And so I think that really inspired a lot of passion. I also went to school at UC Santa Cruz and studied sustainable agriculture and green building design. I'm very much an environmentalist. I want to make sure that, people are healthy, people are happy. And when we're healthy and happy, then we can make informed, creative decisions to come up with the solutions that our society's facing right now. And I think we have a lot of problems that we need to find solutions for. And the best way that we're going to find a solution is from a state of balance within ourselves. And then we can then emulate that balance out to our community and out to our global communities to trying to restore balance for the planet as a whole.
Amen.
Oh my God, Ruthie, I can see, I can see your smile, Ruthie, on your face while Joseph is speaking. Yeah. I'd be curious to know, from 4 to 9, you're living the life you described, as a little kid, and no electricity, no media, harvesting your own wood so you can build fires and stuff. At 12 years old, what happens? I mean, does your mom all of a sudden go, okay, we got you to 12. Now let's get you inside and turn the lights on. Stuff, I mean, what happened at 12 years old?
So while we were living in the teepee, my mom was building the first permitted Cobb House in California. So a Cobb House is a house that's made out of it's kind of like adobe or rammed earth, or like a straw bale house. It's an earthen building material. It's made up of dirt, straw, clay, sand, and water. Wow. And it's mixed together in small batches. And then we make it kind of into bricks. And we slowly, over years and years, built a house out of that. So we were living in the teepee while we were building that house, using the materials from the land, sourcing some of the materials from locally, but a lot of things, we harvested some trees from the land. We harvested clay from the land. We harvested rocks from the land. We harvested rocks from some of the nearby rivers to help make some of the flooring. So it was really like, it's just a completely different approach to living that my mom chose to take. And that was what I was raised into. And that was what I knew as normal. So by the time I was 12, we had a house that we could live in. We had solar. We had electricity. So, the lights could come on. It was no longer going to bed by candlelight. We actually, had some lights that we could use. So that was the reason.
So when you got in the world and cars were driving around and buses were going by and people on their cell phones, were you like, wait a minute, where am I? Did I go time warp?
Wait, Kalina's there. Everybody's gonna have to take
Everybody
a
hit it. Kalina just showed up. Hit it again.
Double.
Bust out your blood.
I mean, no words.
Well, right, because I think Browner's question is right on. Like, was the world a strange place to you when you went out into it? And when you tell this story that you're telling us, are people like, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat right now going, what?
I want really? A movie made about, and not only that, when they ask me, what are you bringing on the island? You can only pick 3 things. I'm bringing Joseph, and Joseph.
He'll build you a house.
Yeah.
I think we need to bring Joseph's mom, dude.
Yeah.
I would also say, don't give me too much credit, because really this is my mom's work, and I'm here as a messenger and as a supporter of the work that my mom has done. But really, the strains that we have here, the Harmony Rose, the Pink Buscatus, this is all work that my mom is doing. The Cobb House that was built, this was my mom who built the house. The teepee, this was her. Like
That's amazing.
that's why I'm passionate, is because I've seen the power of a woman who is dedicated and believes in her spiritual guidance, her spiritual wisdom, and is passionate and determined to make a beautiful life for her family. And so, the least that I can do is continue that legacy and support her to continue to do the work that she's doing, while also finding, my own path forward in life and finding the gifts that I can share with our community to keep this message live and to keep inspiration in the hearts and minds of the people while we're going through such a challenging time in history.
Well, you obviously are a shining example of what she has done and the gift that she has given to the world.
Amen.
Not only that, and the fact that you would definitely be a Naked and Afraid all-star. I'm definitely, this is great. This is great, man.
Amazing. It's amazing. Can you bring your mom next time you come?
I try to get mom out as much as I can. There, one of the videos that you guys probably watched, and I think it sums it up perfectly, is it starts with her saying, that she's someone who connects more with plants than with people.
Yeah.
And, while it's, I love being able to get her out to share her story. And I think, I would love to see her share her story more. It's not something that she's really called to do. Somebody recently described it as like the mystic, which is my mom, and then the translator, which is myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so allowing her to stay within, the bubble, the protection that she is in to do the work that she's doing is essential, because what she's doing is incredible and is not like anything else. And so, for me, I can bring that message out, and I can articulate the work that she's doing. I'm doing it with her. I'm working with her. And then I'm going out and sharing that story and helping other people understand what it is we're doing.
Yeah.
So she does get out every once in a while, but it's not as common.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a brilliant job, man. You really are.
Yeah.
Ruthie, I'm curious. You're sitting there with Joseph. And again, like I said, you have this big smile on your face because what he's speaking about, which may sound so unique to people who are watching and listening, it seems to be really like resonating and hitting home with you. I'm curious why.
Yeah. I mean, just everything he's saying is just it's truth to me. Like, I think that we all need to connect with nature and the earth more and take care of it. It's not being taken care of. We started the conversation with how did Farm Cut gather all the legacy farmers together? I mean, they unified, which is what we as people need to do. We're so divided right now, and it's just like very painful to watch. And as a highly sensitive person and empath as myself, I feel it throughout my life. And so I've really had to find the tools to live in this world today with picking up on all that divisiveness. So I can feel like the love and the passion and the harmony and the happiness and everything that Joseph is vibing right now, because that's how I move through the world, is through feeling and energy. And it feels really good. And not very many people have that. And then as, a mother myself, I pass on so much, I guess, mysticism and love and, not what his mom is doing, but in a different way to my kids, because I really want them to go out in the world and shine and never dim their light, because when we shine, it allows other people to shine. So that's like, that's
a Rihanna lyric. When we shine, we shine together.
Sounds amazing. And
I think what he's a shining example of, and what you are, is that people can raise children differently and still get great outcomes.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that he's trying to share, is that his upbringing was vastly different from somebody like me.
Yeah.
But I was put into this world and I made out of it what I got out of it. And he has done the same thing. And we're both doing positive things, trying to move the world in a positive direction, even though we're from completely different backgrounds. And so I think so that's a perfect example for what parenting is in 101.
So I have a question about the product itself, though, because I'm a novice to cannabis. Like this show has led me to learn more and more about it. The however many we've done so far of this, but one thing that for me always strikes a chord is the story. Like you hear the story of the product and it makes me want to try that product. You know, we had, I forget her name, from Moon Made Farms, and I ran directly to Torrey and I got some to try it because the story intrigues me and it actually makes me want to support. So when you see Farm Cut, you see the logo. How do you get people to know this incredible story? Because I'm sure there's millions of people that are just like me that are like, yeah, I see Farm Cut, but there's thousands of other brands out there. But now that I know the story, I want to run to Torrey or California and get some Farm Cut because of the story so incredible.
That's such a great question, Alex. I think that's amazing. And we'll have Joseph definitely answer that. But just so everyone knows, there are many farms and strains that represent Farm Cut. So I also want Joseph to let everyone know what we carry here at Torrey and maybe what some of his favorites are and what to try and some of the feedback that he gets on different strains.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so to the first question, like, how do we get this story out? We do it through things like this, podcasts. We've also released some different videos, you know, talking about the work that we do on the farms. When we can, as farmers, we go out into the community and we share our stories. We're working with, you know, different publishers that are writing articles about cannabis and about brands and, you know, trying to make connections with them to share our story. But it's, you know, we are also just a few small families that farm for a living, and we don't have a huge marketing budget to, you know, buy a billboard and put our brand on blast and, you know, get featured on some of these, you know, big shows with huge amounts of viewers. And so it's, you know, I like to say all good things grow slowly. And that's really my mantra that I live by. And, you know, so until somebody hears my story, you know, at least they're getting familiar with seeing that Farm Cut exists, and hopefully it inspires them one day, or they meet me in a shop one day to really get the deeper download. But there are so many people out there to try to reach. And, you know, I'm super grateful for opportunities like this to get to share what we're doing, to bring a deeper meaning to what the Farm Cut logo represents, and to just, you know, create a platform that these small families can stand on and really showcase their work in a beautiful way and have good reputation and good representation in the market, because that's, you know, it can be hard to reach a lot of people right now, especially as a small family farm growing plants full time.
Well, a number of things are word of mouth. I mean, what you guys can't see, and the viewers, is we have other people that can hear our conversation right now. So they're, you know, get to hear this amazing story. And then Joseph is going to go downstairs and talk to customers for the rest of the time that he's here, that he gets to share his story and his knowledge. So I think through word of mouth and through, things like this is really powerful. And those connections are really what makes change, or get someone to try a product and then really feels or sees or tastes the difference between maybe something that they wouldn't have tried before.
Well, Joseph, I know you got a lot of other things to do while you're visiting Torrey Holistics, so we'll try and get you back out and down to the store here. But back to what Alex was asking, you know, once you hear the story and you get inspired to say, I want to try the product, Ruthie then said, well, perhaps you could share with us, you know, some of what you really like, so that when I come in, I don't just say, hey, I'm looking for the Farm Cut brand. I want to know what you like or what you want us to try, so that we can try it and then we can, you know, pass it on as well.
Well, you know, I think one of the beautiful things about Farm Cut and collaborating with 5 different farms is that we've really been able to collaborate together as 5 family farms to bring forward a diverse array of medicines. So, you know, together between our farms, we have some high THC indica flowers like our garlic cookies from Down Home Farms. We have some nice indica THCs like our Morning Cuddles that's grown by Bryceland Forest Farms. Our Atlas Biscotti, grown by Happy Day Farms, is another beautiful high THC strain that, you know, a lot of people that are enjoying high THC and want to try something a little bit different, we have those available. So indica, sativa, hybrid, we have that to offer. What I think is also pretty unique about Farm Cut is what our farm, Emerald Spirit Botanicals, is focusing on is breeding cannabis varietals with mixed cannabinoid ratios. And so we're working with a strain called Harmony Rose that we've been breeding on farm for the last 12 years. And it's a 1-to-1 THC to CBD varietal. And that one creates a nice balancing. I describe it as softening the edges, relaxing but functional high that can help relieve pain. It can help relieve anxiety. It can kind of help to just like bring you into a state of balance, which is, you know, something that a lot of people are looking for, to be relaxed and calm without getting too high. We also have a very unique strain called Pink Boost Goddess. And this is a strain that we've been breeding for 7 years that is rich in a cannabinoid called THCV. And this is a different cannabinoid, kind of how CBD is a different cannabinoid than THC. And this is one that is supporting people. It's kind of, I describe it as kind of like a coffee effect in cannabis. It's uplifting, it's energizing, it's mood elevating. It also helps with focus. So these are some qualities that, you know, a lot of people are looking for in cannabis that, you know, not all strains can deliver that effect. On the more medicinal realm, THCV is being shown to support appetite regulation, so kind of reducing cravings. It's also being shown to help reduce blood sugar in diabetics. It's being shown to help reduce neuropathic pain, so nerve pain. And so not only is there an enjoyable recreational effect that THCV has to offer, there's also some underlying medicinal beneficial effects that I think certain people might be able to find relief through cannabis in a way that they might not have been able to find previously. And so THCV is something that I'm really excited about right now. The Pink Boost Goddess is just so unique. It's not like anything else on the market. It won the Emerald Cup the last 2 years in a row and also got a gold medal at the California State Fair. So it's been recognized by more than just myself. It's being recognized on a state level as a pretty unique and incredible strain. So, you know, between high sativa, indica hybrid, and then our 1-to-1 CBD, and our THCV line, Farm Cut really offers a diverse selection of flower. So we're not really targeting one specific effect. We're really trying to offer patients a medicinal experience, and each person is going to experience a medicinal effect in a different way. And so we want to offer that diversity so that if someone is looking for healing with cannabis plant medicine, they can find it in Farm Cut.
Wow.
Am I going to see you later this afternoon?
Oh my God, Ruthie, you have no idea. Friday, we're recording on a Wednesday. On Friday, I'm coming to see you. I got to get the Pink Boost Goddess.
Yes.
Because one of the things I will just say, I know we got to wrap this up because Joseph's got other things to do. But one of my biggest things that is when I get high, if there's anything that's edible anywhere near me, I will eat everything in sight. Everything. And so when you were just talking about THCV, I thought to myself, wow, that's a product that I'd like to try. That's a strain I'd like to try and see if I can enjoy myself, focus, like you just said, and just not eat everything in sight.
Come on now, be honest. Even without, you know, weed, you're still eating everything in sight.
No, I'm telling you, man.
Come on, guy.
Come on, man. We've all been to a Mexican restaurant with you in that chip bowl.
I know, but if you only knew what I smoked before I went in there, dude. That's the problem. Hey, Joseph. Wow, congratulations, man. You are.
Thank you.
Isn't it funny, Ruthie, how every time we get done with these things, we're like, gosh, that person is so darn impressive.
I know. I love all of them. I mean, but let's be real. Joseph brings a different, just
totally
a
different vibe,
different story. It is very inspiring.
Yeah.
And I think like another important takeaway for your audience is, you know, honoring the farmers that are still working with the seed of the cannabis plant, and growing it full term, because that's a very difficult and risky bet to take each season. To grow a seed means you don't necessarily know exactly what the cannabinoid profile is, but it's ensuring that our seeds are able to continue for generations and generations to come. And so while it's important to focus on the present moment and make sure that, we can survive as a business and make our bottom line, it's also, we need to preserve the integrity of our history. And when we're working with the plant kingdom, that's done through seeds. And so, just honoring the farmers that are working with seeds still, and that are breeding and creating new seeds, and really allowing the cannabis medicine to evolve with us on this planet at this time. And the way that the plants evolve is by creating new seed. And that's what we do on our farm at Emerald Spirit. And there's a number of other farms that are still working with seeds and valuing that. And so, that's something that's really important that often goes unspoken. But if we completely resort to working with clones and we focus our purchasing power on away from farms that are working with the seed, then a lot of those families are unable to do what they do in this current industry. And so supporting the seed, and then also recognizing that this plant has spirit. This is a living being, and we cannot force it into a commercialized, commoditized model without it suffering as well. And so we want to preserve its life force and its integrity by growing it outdoors from seed with its roots in the earth, connecting to the sun and the moon and the stars, and bringing all of that wisdom together, and each year creating a new memory in the form of a seed. And then the next year we plant that seed and it creates its new journey for that season. And being a part of that process and supporting the farmers who are being a part of that process is paramount right now. So just another little bit to consider purchasing power.
Very important piece.
Yeah. I want to encourage everybody who's watching and listening to check out the website, farmcutcannabis.com, farmcutcannabis.com. Joseph, thank you for what you've brought today to the Holistics Highlights podcast. We look forward to our next visit. I'm thinking about maybe like a team field trip up to Mendocino. Look at Ruthie. Ruthie's like, yeah.
Well, if you've never been to a farm, it's seriously life-changing. It is such an amazing and spiritual experience.
I want to invade your space. I need to see this house.
Yeah.
I still want to see your Cobb House.
We've got some pictures. If you can, I'll be back here in December and I'll have pictures of it. So we'll be doing another demo. Look for it at Torrey in December. And so you can come down, you can meet me, check out some pictures of the house, get to talk to the farmer, get to learn more about Farm Cut. And in the meantime, support us by purchasing some of the flower that they carry here. And ahead of time, thank you guys for supporting small family farms.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. I know you got other work to do while you're here. Ruthie, thank you so much for this conversation today. Grande, Brown Man, we appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to everybody on the next episode of the Holistics Highlights podcast. Thanks, everybody.